Hey guys, it's Heather the Crochet Witch. How are you guys doing today? So, very excited to say that I have something to show you. It is not yarny related today, if you couldn't tell by the title of this video, but I had something on pre-order from Amazon months ago. 2 months ago, 3 months ago, many months ago. If I pre-order something and it's more than like 2 weeks, to me it is eons. Like, I have that impatience of like a 2-year-old when it's something that I super want, and I'm like, is it time yet? Is it time yet? Is it time yet? Is it time yet? Now that's not true. I was gonna say there's not that many things that I get this excited about, but there is. And I was super excited about this. Nonetheless to say that doesn't sound right. Anyway, getting tongue-tied because I'm getting excited. The frustrating part about it was they had said originally that it was going to be out. I think when I first pre-ordered it, they said it was going to be out at the end of August. And then they said it would be out mid-August. And I was like, oh, it's like a birthday present for myself. So I was really excited about that. And then it said, no, it's been moved to September, I don't know, like 12th or something. I was like, no. But at least it was a date. And then that got moved to August 28th, maybe, which is the day after my birthday. And then that got moved to September 3rd, which that was the last time I heard anything about it. Well, needless to say, September 3rd came and went, and no package, no word. And then yesterday, day before yesterday, whatever, since it's after midnight, whatever technicality you want to go with, day before yesterday, then I guess, we had gotten the email that it was going to be delivered yesterday. And lo and behold, I got the Stranger Things tarot deck, you guys. Is that not quintessential Heather? Stranger Things and tarot. If it had came with some free yarn, that would have been all-inclusive to me. I mean, like, wow. They showed a few of these cards. They showed most of these cards, but not all of them in the preview. But here's on the back, here's some of the preview cards for those of you who are familiar with tarot, which I'm assuming you're either familiar with it or curious about it, or maybe you just like Stranger Things and that's why you're here, or maybe a small portion of you just are amused by my antics and that's why you're here. And if so, thank you so much. Thank you for putting up with me on the daily on all my craziness, if that's why you're here, just because of my craziness. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to do a full flip through on my witchy channel, because that's where I do, if you are into tarot, I do lots of tarot decks that I get. I do full flip throughs and reviews on my witchy channel, which is always linked below. And I do like tarot readings on a different tarot on another channel, and that is linked below also. And after I get this, after I cleanse it, after I charge it, I will be doing some readings on that channel with this deck. Just maybe like some this readings were meant for you type of readings to start with or something. But I will be doing some readings from it. Of course, how could I not? So this is basically going to be like a big mini series across my channels. And this is the first one. But yeah, let me show you the deck box again. It's really cool because it's got the regular world up here and the upside down here with the demogorgons in it, hanging out, causing some trouble, howling at the moon. Yeah, so it's in a pretty sturdy box. I love that. Let's see. Inspired by the hit Netflix series Stranger Things, it is a tarot deck and guidebook. It is a full 78 card deck, and it has a 124 page guidebook. And I will say, I was reading through the guidebook, and one thing I find pretty cool about it is if you get this deck and you're not familiar at all with tarot, like, I mean, maybe you know what it is because that's probably why you got it, but say you're not familiar with reading, you've never done any readings. Here's the guidebook, by the way. It's a pretty thick guidebook as far as some of these guidebooks go. I know it's not a full like side companion, but what they do when they do like the introduction and things like that is they compare things to the Stranger Things world. Like obviously the cards do already, but let me see if I can find an example of what I'm talking about. Okay, right at the beginning, there's a little section called Meeting Your Deck. And it says right from the jump, it says, think of learning tarot like moving to a new town. Imagine how Elle felt as she discovered the faces, places, and nuances of life outside the lab. Sure, it can be overwhelming, but there's also so much fun to be had. Your tarot deck is a lot like Hawkins, filled with unique characters and mysteries just waiting to be explored through various spreads. A pattern of cards or spreads is like a map, a layout of key questions that collectively offer information about your overarching query. The cards placed in each point of the spread are like signposts providing detailed directions to help you find your way. There are hundreds of tarot spreads. Check out a few examples in the back of this book that you can research and use, but for now, let's connect with your deck by using a new in town spread. Before you do any reading, take time to shuffle the deck as you mix up the cards, focus on the question you want, think through your intentions, open your mind to new information, and give yourself permission to be as patient as you receive guidance. Don't worry about memorizing the cards' meanings. That will come in time. When you intuitively feel like you're ready to start, place the cards face down. Start with flipping the first card. It does go through things like that. But then it says, like when you go to the next page, it says the major arcana, which is, if you're not familiar, the major arcana are the cards that are like the name cards. So they're going to be like the Tower, the Fool, the Devil, the Star. That's some of the more familiar. People are more familiar with those, I think, than some of the other ones. But they relate those to Hawkins things too. So if you're already a fan of Stranger Things, which is assumably you are, it compares the two so that you get an idea. I just think that's pretty cool. The major arcana consists of 22 of the 78 cards. On a map of Hawkins, these would be the primary thoroughfares and freeways in and outs of town, as the major arcana represent significant events in life. They begin with the Fool, Will Byers, who meets 21 other fascinating archetypes in his journey. Within the major arcana are life-changing moments of personal growth and universal human experiences. When major arcana cards appear in your reading, they speak to critical lessons. Or if upside down, which normally we call them reverse, but they're calling them upside down. And I know they mean the same thing anyway, but Stranger Things, upside down. Facing away from the subject of the reading can warn you of the dangers of not heeding these lessons. And then, like they do go through, like they already mentioned, the Fool was Will. So there's like the picture of the artwork. And they give you the upright and the upside down meaning. And they do that with all of the major arcana. They go through them. And then when you get to the minor arcana, there's smaller pictures, but they still give you the pictures of each one. So I thought that was pretty cool. And let's show you the deck real quick, shall we? I'm so excited. And it does come in, you know, it's not just a regular, like, I assume you just call them like a tuck box, just the regular, like, I find them very easy to either mess up a card or mess up the box when it's just the kind that where the box lid folds into it. My friend Seth destroys the box every single time that he gets a deck like that. But this is the little bit fancier kind. It has the ribbon that lays down in there that you can lift out your deck with and everything. And you pull out your deck. It's a full-size deck. The cards are, you know, it's a full size. And here's the card backs. So they have the Mind Flayer at the top. They have the Stranger Things logo, and they have that creepy upside down storm, which that's really cool. The cards are a little bit like they're not laminated feeling on the back, but the front is very smooth. Like, it's not really laminated, but it's just like that smooth cardboard feel. So that I wish that was more protected, I guess, because this is a deck I would like to use many times over, and I still will, let's be honest. I will still show you a lot of them. One thing that I hate with decks, with any deck, and I am still pretty willing to overlook it. So the 4 suits are Pentacles, Cups, why is my mind blanking out right now so bad? Pentacles, Cups, Swords, and then you can either call them Wands or Rods, depending on who you are or what the deck is, but those are the basic ones that you call them. And they changed the names. I thought they only changed one of them when I saw them. They changed all of them. They changed them to spokes. Like, here's the Ace of Spokes, which I believe spokes are meant to be cups. Was that right? It does say in the minor arcanas. Let me check real quick, just because now I'm curious. See, and this is another thing, like, it compares it. It says the minor arcana represents your actions and choices. On a map of Hawkins, these would be the sites that you most commonly visit: meeting your friends at the library, cruising the roller rink, or going for a bike ride down your street. They're day-to-day experiences, temporary in nature, but still important as they relate to your patterns of behavior. If upside down, they can encourage you to think differently about your current situation. Before each suit, you will find a detailed description of what types of experience they focus on. You may notice common themes for the numbers across the suits. For example, the aces always speak of new beginnings, but depending on which suit it's from, it will indicate new beginnings in different parts of your life. Okay, here it is. So the spokes are cups, and then they have, let me see. I was going to try to just show you the aces of each suit if I can get that quickly enough. Then they have the strands, which that's the one that I did see. And the strands are wands. And let's see. And then they have the scoops, which totally Steve's hand right there in his little Scoops Ahoy outfit. So I am digging that. The scoops are pentacles. I would have assumed the scoops would be cups, because, like, the cone is kind of like cup shaped. I don't know. I would have assumed that. Guess not. And that leaves the dice, and the dice must be, they must be swords, right? Is that the one I haven't named yet? Yeah, swords. But I will show you the ace just because I showed you the other ones. It's cool looking. There's the ace of dice. It's really pretty. The very, very 80s looking background colors there. And I will show you some of the major arcana cards. Like I said, I'll do like a full walkthrough and review on my other channel. The channel will be linked down below. That video will probably come out either like this video should be coming out early morning for at least people in my time zone. So as far as my time zone, the full walkthrough and review should be coming through tonight or at the very earliest this afternoon. So I would say I would link it, but it'll probably upload while I'm sleeping. It might be linked. If not, just check my witchy channel and it should be there. I'm so excited. So I know I just showed you that, but the first one is the Fool, and that's Will Byers when he's on his journey to the Upside Down. And then the High Priestess is Elle. And then the Empress is Joyce, which I can see that. Like, I don't like it for personal reasons, but I'll show you why in a minute. But I can see that because the Empress is matronly. She's very motherly, protective, loving, nurturing, and that's Joyce to a T. Very mama bear. That's totally Joyce all day long. Because her coupling is Hopper as the Emperor. But both of them do have, that is the right energy. So, I mean, I can't argue it any, whether I like the pairing or not. I am not a jopper. I'm not a jopper person, if you haven't noticed. But he's also a very advice-giving, patronly, protective, guiding. You know, he's got that nature about him, and so he's got very good Emperor energy also. So I can't argue that, honestly. Murray is the Hierophant, and honestly, I can't argue with that either. Murray's got the wisdom and the wisdom and the charm, and that's Murray totally, right? Murray's always sticking his nose into people's business and giving the advice whether they want it or not. The Lovers card, they have Mike and Elle at the Snowball. That was definitely, I would say, them at the beginning of their happiest moments. You know, their happiness moved through season 3. Maybe Mike wasn't at his happiest when Hopper got a hold of him and then Elle broke up with him, but that was their happy time, was the beginning of the Snowball right there. The Chariot would be Hopper's vehicle here. Forward moving energy, and it's definitely Hopper to a T. Large and in charge. For strength, they have Max, and that's also pretty accurate, honestly. Max is definitely self-confident and strong and like headstrong, and she's very fiery, and yeah, she's a good strength card. And then we have the Hermit, and that's another Elle picture. It's an Elle moment. That Elle moment was kind of hermity, gathering her thoughts and her strength inwardly, because nobody was going to help her on, like, couldn't help her on that journey, right, when she was in the pool. So, and then the Wheel of Fortune, this was kind of a stretch. Their Wheel of Fortune was an Eggo waffle, but it did have all the kids on it, basically. But, I mean, still kind of accurate. Like, Wheel of Fortune, could go in anyone's favor, kind of, with this. There's a lot of players in the game, basically. Kind of like the actual game, Wheel of Fortune. Justice would be Nancy. And Nancy totally gives off that Justice vibe in season 4, doesn't she? They have the Hanged Man, they have as Will. And they have Will floating. And I don't really remember him floating. Especially because it looks like he's in the junkyard. And it looks like he's dressed in his season 1 outfit. Maybe that's just like his like, I guess it doesn't have to be an exact depiction from the show, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And he obviously was very stalled in season 1. He didn't know what route to take, right? And he couldn't get to where he was going. So he was the hanged man. And then, oh, for death, we have Barb. And there's literally like a figure of death reaching for her. Instead of the Demogorgon, maybe that would be a better ending for our Barb. Because I think she had a pretty bad fate. Even if she died before she got to the Upside Down, I mean that was a pretty terrifying death, right? But yeah, self-explanatory. Big changes for Barb, that's for sure. And honestly, Barb made the change. Like, she was the beginning that I keep wanting to say cartwheeled the show. I don't mean cartwheeled, but that's the word that keeps coming to mind. But she set off all the changes in the show. Like, until then, it was, kids partying and kids this and that. And then, at least for like the older kids, right? And then Barb's death happened, and then everybody freaked out and knew that something bad was happening. And, Nancy got onto the mystery, and so did Jonathan. And I mean, even Steve did then. And Barb was the change. Barb epitomized the death card, basically. So I think that was a good thing. Mike is Temperance, which I'm gonna have to think on that one a little bit. So I'll leave that one for my review. I'll think on that one. The Scientist as the devil. And I can kind of see that. I guess I probably should leave a little of this chatter for my actual review. I'll go into it maybe a little bit more on my channel, but I can see that since the devil deals with I'll go into it on my channel. And then the tower, the big tentacle destroying everything and causing havoc from this tear in time and space. It's definitely a tower moment if I've ever seen one, so that's pretty accurate there. And then the star, Lucas is the star. And I love that star energy coming from him. Like, he had a lot of different, like, he wore a lot of different hats through the show. And, but I definitely see the star energy, the, dependableness and the calmness after, like the calm after the storm. I could see Lucas being that energy. He certainly was for Max in season 4. Even if he couldn't provide like all the answers for her and save the day, like he was still there and comforting, and I can see it. Punk Phase L for the Moon from season 2, being like flanked by her sister Kali and her punk gang. But the moon is some of the moon traits, right, are revealing things that go unseen, or like showing the truth behind unseen things in the moonlight, and mysterious things. And like that was what Kali was all about to begin with, and she was teaching Elle too to work past that and see the truth. And I see that. I could see that. And then the sun is Dustin. And is Dustin not just happiness? Like, especially here when he's like looking his best and trying to be like, well, he's not trying. He is just being so sweet and genuine and being like mimicking his hero Steve. It's when he first like became a Steve fanboy kind of, and you just, not that you didn't through the whole seasons of 1 and everything, but he's showing this really sweet side of him, sweet and innocent side, and just happy, especially when Nancy danced with him. Just very sun energy, Dustin is. Like, he is warmth and happiness, and yeah, I can see it totally. Oh, Judgment, possessed Billy. I would have also liked to have seen Billy, by the way, as the devil card. I'm just saying, like non-possessed Billy as the devil card. I think that would have been awesome. Also because flayed Billy makes me sad. Because I love Billy. I love Billy. I cannot tell you enough how much I love Billy. In my fanfics, Billy lives, Billy gets saved, Billy has a full character change, like a full arc in his character mood, basically. Because I think he's a character worth saving. I love him. I think he's great. But in canon, Billy on the Judgment card, when he's, especially like I said, when he's flayed, he makes sense because he is delivering, like in his mind, he's delivering like justice to those who deserve it, like to Elle, giving her what she deserves and everything, and judging people, and that's Billy, that's flayed Billy. And then this is so sweet, the world, which that picture sums up everything, because that's Elle holding Hopper's hand, and for each other they are the world. Like honestly, all other pairings aside, like Jopper aside, and 11 and Mike aside, or anyone else that you may ship those two with, they have each other, right? And like he needs a little girl to take care of, and she needs a papa who's not her papa. As much as I like Brenner, he's not the papa she needs. She's the papa she had. Or he's the papa she had, I mean. Hopper's the papa that she needs. And they complete each other, and they are happiness and the light at the end of the tunnel, and they symbolize the world really well. So I think they did a pretty good job with the major arcana. Like there's a whole list of minor arcana that I won't get into with you guys if you don't care that much about it. Like I said, they'll be in the walkthrough and we'll talk about it. There's some pretty interesting things about the minor arcanas. And I can definitely, I will say, I had begun to talk about how I really can't stand when decks switch, like when they switch the suits around to like spokes and dice and stuff as compared to like pentacles and this and that. I hate it. I hate it. The only thing I hate more than that is when they switch the names of the minor or the major arcana. Like sometimes instead of the Fool, I've seen the Wanderer, which while it's fitting, just irks me for some reason. I've seen different cards be different things. And I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm a traditionalist, or, you know, I don't know why. because I know over time cards have changed. Like back in the day, the Lover card used to be called, I think, the Choice in all decks. I mean, it used to be just the common thing. And then I don't know the reason behind it, like I don't know the history of it, but I guess one day it just changed to the Lover's card. It just did. So maybe one day the Fool will be called the Wanderer. Like, who knows? I don't know. I have like one deck where they've renamed a couple of the major arcana cards and it hasn't driven me absolutely crazy. And other than that, it's driven me crazy. Like I don't want to use the deck for the most part. And for the most part, I don't want to use decks that change the minor arcana either, but maybe it's because it's Stranger Things, but it probably is because it's Stranger Things, but I have some forgiveness in my heart and I'm totally going to be using this. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys and let you know that it is now available. So you don't have to, if you want it, you don't have to like pre-order it and wait for the pre-order to come through. It is actually available. But yeah, oh, and the guidebook does also, before I let you go, the guidebook does also have, if you are especially like a beginner, it has a couple of different tarot spreads and it numbers the cards, even telling you like where to lay your cards down, in what order and all, I mean. So it'll say like, just set them down in like 1, 2, 3, and 4 after you shuffle and ask your question. And then it says, card 1, what is disconnecting you from yourself? Have you recently been bitten by a mind flayer, perhaps? Card 2, how can you reignite your spark? Even if you aren't as powerful as you once were, you can do meaningful things. Card 3, what will be a grounding force? Never underestimate the value of your best friends and chosen family. And card 4, what will keep your energy flowing? Perhaps it's time to consider a move? No, Joyce, it's not time to consider a move because you're just going to end up coming back anyway and proving that Heather was right and you should have never moved because you just find Angela. And you know what happens when you find Angela? Angela gets schmacked. That's what. Shouldn't move. Elle just gets traumatized. Bad move, Joyce. Bad move. Very opinionated about that. Anyway, so I hope you liked this. I hope that you want to check out the full walkthrough and see all of the cards and hear my crazy opinions about all of it, because they'll be in full detail on my other channel, like I said, probably within the next 24 hours. And then after that, we'll do some cleansing and all that good stuff and some charging, and we'll do some tarot spreads. So on that note, I will let you go and see you in the next video. So, all right, I will talk to you guys later. You know that I love you, and I'll see you very soon. Bye, guys.